In this learning episode, you are about to learn some safety procedures when storing work. The visual arts requirements are concerns about safe storage for artworks. It serves as a guide for conservators interested in beginning to assess how to move forward with establishing storage for valuable digital assets, whether works of art or critically important conservation documentation in digital form. Let's understand first the guide to properly storing your art physically instead of rolling up your document and placing it in a poster tube. Valuable pieces should be kept flat to avoid causing wrinkles, folds, deterioration, and other types of damage that can occur when storing rolled up paper for a long period of time. If you don't know what poster tubes are, poster tubes are a type of mailing or shipping tube that are used to safely transport rollable, unframed art that cannot be folded. Here are some tips for properly storing your art. First on the list is encapsulation. If you don't know what encapsulation is, it is best used for previously de-acidified double-sided art, so both sides can be viewed and inspected. When you encapsulate a document or piece of art, the work is encased in polyester film and, when properly sealed, your document lives in a permanent microclimate. While encased, you can handle and inspect the work without causing any damage. Second on the list is matboard with a wrapped face cover. Similar to encapsulation, this method is used for one-sided pieces of art and involves placing the art between a sheet of polyester film and a sheet of rag or conservation matboard. The film should be larger than the matboard on all sides and taped to the back. Do not tightly wrap the art, as some air should be allowed to circulate through it. Third is covered window mat. This is recommended for use with works that need special protection while in storage like pastels, graphite, charcoals. The work is matted and then another sheet of matboard is placed on top and hinged on one side with pressure-sensitive linen tape. The cover mat will protect the fragile piece, yet the hinge will allow you easy access to the piece for inspection. What should you do to store finished artwork? Here are some tips and guide for you. First, image result for storing artworks digitally. You can store your artworks online using of course cloud storage. There's a lot of software, applications that helps you store them digitally. It is safe and can be backed up. Access on the internet is needed in storing your file. Next tip is to make sure to avoid direct sunlight. Keep all your canvas artwork out of direct sunlight. The UV rays from the sun can cause your paintings to fade, and the sun can also break the strength of the canvas down. Over time, your artwork will become fragile and the colors could be less vibrant. This applies not only to storage but also when you display the artwork in your home. Next is to make sure you store canvas prints and paintings upright. If you stack your canvases horizontally, it can cause the canvas to loosen and sag over time. Never lie your canvas prints or artwork on a flat surface. Instead, keep each piece stored in an upright position. If you lay them flat, you might start to see impressions from the stretcher bars show on the canvas's surface. Keeping the pieces upright will also keep dust and other debris from settling on the artwork. It's also a helpful way to maximize available storage space. Next on the list is to keep your canvas prints and paintings in a cool, dry place because moisture can wreak havoc on canvas art prints and artwork. It can also cause mold and mildew to grow. Once the mold is on your canvas, it's almost impossible to remove. Better to keep and protect your artworks. You should also avoid storing your canvas prints on the floor. This might seem like common sense, but artists ruin canvas prints like this quite often. If you lay your canvas pieces on the floor, they're vulnerable to all kinds of damage. Consider protecting your canvas prints with cloth. This is to preserve your canvas art prints. Cover each one with a light cloth. You can use anything including an old sheet, as long as it fully covers the piece. When you use a cloth to cover your canvas, it prevents dust, cobwebs, and grime from building up and settling. Next is to don't forget to store large paintings and canvas prints in mirror boxes. One of the best ways to store your canvas art prints is to use a storage unit as we mentioned. When your artwork is in the storage unit, pack it in mirror boxes. That includes painting, canvas prints, and decorated mirrors. That way, practically nothing will be able to harm them. Lastly, always remember to store large pieces of artwork in a crate. This is another excellent method to store artwork and large canvas prints is to have it put into a wooden crate. In fact, this is probably the very best, safest, and most protective art storage method around. Next to be discussed is the two routes in entering your artworks. As you all know, we have the cloud storage. It is a great option that is fairly low cost. With no physical storage devices, you do not have to worry about damage, loss, or failure of a device and your storage space is able to grow with your needs. Next method is physical storage. Here you need and can use multiple storage devices. It can be wise to store a duplicate set of storage devices at a different location in case of fire, theft, especially your important reference photos, scans of available artwork or which has been exhibited and/or sold. Here are some ways of creating and storing digital works that last, and how to avoid accidental ephemeral art. To avoid possible damages to your artworks, you must know first your media life extension begins with the file extension, so keep tabs on your resources and their potential constraints, such as open source versus proprietary software, or using patented technologies, licenses, and file formats. You might also consider organizing your data. By being organized to your data, help you to be more precise and disciplined in a way that you can easily recognize and search your files. Be it by file naming or file structure. Maintain this method, I guarantee you that you will have an easier life. Next is to always backup. Backups and redundancies exist for emergencies. For all projects, you must keep copies of the distribution folders synchronized to Dropbox or any cloud storage you have. That way all finished work and press images that need to send out are easy to find. You are your own digital art museum and archive, and you get to choose what method is important for your collection. You might also consider online storage. There are loads of cloud storage options. It is not recommended in using online storage as your sole backup, but used correctly it is a huge asset. There are actually tons of pros and cons in using the method online storage. For pros, you can access it through online or by using internet. It is also easy share files and folders. You can also use synchronization of your files across multiple devices. Whereas for the cons of using online storage, it costs money for any decent amount of space. Sometimes it is also slow to upload and download. Third-party storage has security risks, where your file can be hacked by others. And don't ever rely on sharing platforms. Files hosted on sharing sites, like SoundCloud, YouTube, Tumblr, Instagram, are at their mercy. Data stored with these hosts are redundancy. Even if the service claims to archive your files, they exist foremost as a distribution platform. And lastly, expect and always keep to update. Regular maintenance helps your digital art age gracefully and will prolong its lifespan. Develop a roadmap that incorporates potential technical challenges. Here are the basic principles for an archive. Always choose between the permanent or temporary method. For things you don't want to lose, you need permanent storage. Secondly, different place from your computer, like if your house burns down, the external hard disk sitting. In principle, you need to store your data in 3 places: on your computer, on your backup drive, somewhere external to where you keep your computer and backup drive, like cloud storage. And of course, you need to transfer digital files between storage mediums as technology changes and image files are updated. And lastly, never ever touch the master copy. Keep masters stored separately so it can be worked on for future use. Here are the 8 ways to protect your artwork images from being copied online. First is to start with low-resolution images. The internet is set up to handle high and low-resolution images. If you put up high-resolution images, not only are you increasing the loading time for your pages, but you're also inviting the unscrupulous to download and print your images. Next is to keep your images small. Image size is determined by pixels. For example, an image that's 300 pixels wide is smaller than an image that's 800 pixels wide. The advantage to smaller images is that they load faster and print small. You can also use portions of image of your artwork. You can always crop your image to show just a portion of the overall design. Depending on your artwork, this may or may not be an option. You can also add a copyright notice. Granted, this will only stop the people who already obey the laws. Anyone determined to steal your work will steal it no matter what type of copyright notice you use. Like adding copyright notice, you can also use a watermark. Your watermark could be a copyright notice or a simple logo. Usually, a watermark covers much of the image with a semi-transparent logo or word that makes the image less useful without totally obscuring it. Don't forget to make it easy for people to contact you. This might seem counterintuitive, but if you make it easy for people to contact you, they're more likely to ask for permission to use your work. You can also take action when you find a violation. Whenever you find someone using your work without permission, send them a polite email explaining who you are, that they're using your work without permission, and asking them to take the work down. On your page, you can also disable the right-click function if you manage your own website, and especially if you use WordPress or another popular platform, you may have the option to disable right-clicking on your images. This makes it a bit harder for people to save your images to their devices. That would be all for this learning. I hope you now know how to back up image files. Guide and tips to properly storing your works. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a great day ahead, and please stay safe and keep at least 3 feet away from people whenever you go outside. Don't forget to sanitize after yourselves. Until next time.